LPT. Check the air inlet of every hairdryer you're about to use.
Hair dryers basically work like those big electric space heaters. There are heating elements inside with current going through them. They heat up. Air is forced through the hairdryer by its blower, which cools the heating elements down and prevents them from melting. The air gets hot and blown out the front, and you're able to use it to dry your hair and other parts. The air inlet often has a screen that prevents hair and dust from entering the heating elements. Sadly, those screens don't get cleaned as often as it is needed, if they even get cleaned at all, and are often caked in dust or even fully clogged. This prevents adequate
airflow through the hairdryer, and so cooling for the heating elements, which then overheat. They should have a temperature switch inside which should cut power if the heating elements get too hot, but they don't work more often than not, resulting in a flaming hot experience.
Uprooting because I've had a hairdryer turn into a flamethrower and almost lost an eyebrow. This is good info to know.
I also give the same advice when it comes to warm air hand dryers in public bathrooms. If you can see the air inlet, it's taking the air directly from the immediate bathroom environment, heating it up and then blowing it directly onto your lovely clean hands. These hand dryers are known to actively increase bacterial contamination if used. Luckily, these are all but non-existent these days, bar the odd very old premises. The new variants of hand dryer these days will almost always have an exterior inlet which pulls fresh air from outside. But still stay vigilant out there.
It's actually a small electric space heater, unless you've been using really tiny space heaters.
My hairdryer would cycle on and off thermal cutout.
Then I happened to look at the intake. Then I cleaned it. Worked like new.
Anyone have advice on not getting your hair sucked into the back of the hairdryer? Luckily, the hairdryer I use right now doesn't do it to me, but at every hotel I go to, it happens.
Introducing LPT Request Fridays. We determine Friday as beginning at 12 AM Eastern Time EST at -5. EDT at -4 am bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit message compose /to = our LifeProTips if you have any questions or concerns. ***.
That's a really good tip and honestly, not something most people think to check. I've seen hair dryers overheat or suddenly stop working, and a clogged air inlet was the reason. Quick advice, just take a few seconds to check the back vent before using, especially if it's a shared one at a gym or airbend. A soft toothbrush or even a vacuum works well to clean it out. It's such a simple thing but could actually prevent a fire.
Holy.
My hair dryer has only worked for the last 3 months by constantly tapping the cool button, or it overheats and shuts off until it cools down. I had no idea of the risk I was taking doing that. Time for a new one.
LPT, a tiny thing I wish I'd thought of sooner. Have your loved ones sign their photos.
We chase autographs from celebrities because they feel rare and personal, but looking at an old photo of someone you actually love, your kid, your mom, your partner, and seeing their name written in their own hand, that hits harder than any autograph ever could. Why, dear, when you take a special photo with someone you care about, have them sign it. Doesn't matter if it's messy or silly or a scribble. Now you don't just have a picture of them, you have a piece of them, a moment, in their handwriting. I've never heard anyone suggest this before and wish I had done it when my kids were young, but imagine having a photo of your kid from when they were little and they signed it in crayon, or a snapshot of your parent before they pass with their name in their handwriting underneath. That's something to hold on to. I was reading a story about an autograph and I was like, I'd rather have my dad's autograph than this. Then realised, why don't I get his autograph? He's not famous, but who cares? Just an idea. I've been reading the comments. Didn't want to spam the channel replying to everyone making it all about me, but you all have some great ideas and comments. Thank you.
That's a great idea.
Now you have a sample signature to update their will. Exclamation GIF Jiffy 3OG0 IMJCC8P6HX.
Alt. How to collect signatures to commit forgery. I love this idea.
After my mom died, I started saving Christmas cards from the previous year only, so that I always have something in my loved one's handwriting.
Really good idea. My cousin recently sent me a bunch of old papers, mostly photos of my late parents. Going through everything was difficult, but seeing a recipe handwritten by my mom is what broke me. Yes, this is a great idea.
I am going to go around asking my family for autographs, but maybe gifting ones you wrote a nice little message on could be cute.
On a related note, put the names of the people in the photograph on the back. I do not know how many times I have seen piles of old photos and no one has any idea who is in them.
LPT, to get more from museum visits, learn a bit about the exhibits before you go.
I used to just wander through museums and glance at things without really connecting, but then I started reading up on the main exhibits or watching short videos about the museum beforehand. It made a huge difference in how much I enjoyed the visit. Knowing the background, stories and context gave me a deeper appreciation and helped me notice details I would have missed otherwise. If you want to get more out of your next museum trip, spend a few minutes preparing. It really pays off.
You can apply the same idea to basically any life experience, a whole city country, a live performance or a zoo. Then you'll realize that building up a general knowledge is the path to enjoying the world around you.
It's like when you go to school and you preview tomorrow's lessons in advance.
This is so true. A little prep turns a casual stroll into a meaningful experience. Museums hit different when you know the stories.
100% with anything. I love to take a guided tour in a museum because who doesn't want to learn about the pieces while you're standing in front of them?
I'm a museum curator. Your average, professionally run museum likely has 2-3% of its collection on display, and there's quite a bit that will never be seen by the general public. Instead, we preserve it for future generations in a climate-controlled storage room. If you **** call ahead and make an appointment ****. We love showing people around collection storage. Just saying. Also, that text is bolded for a reason. This is even more the case for archaeological sites like Pompeii. Honestly, a good book is an option. As well, in many cases, I also find it better to see the museum first then the site for places like Petra.
Same with movies and plays.
I wonder if this kind of relates to a study where if people know the spoilers before seeing a movie, they actually claim to enjoy the movie more.
I personally love context in media. All of my favourite songs are not those that are the best music, but they relate to stuff that was happening at the time.
Good tip. Original poster.
LPT, your insurance company may have a patient advocate that can be surprisingly helpful.
Disclaimer. I'm pretty sure this is only necessary for people in the US with private health insurance. Apologies to foreigners that don't have to worry about such things. Backstory. We moved to semi-rural Maine a few years ago. Getting a doctor, dentist, therapist, or vet here is borderline impossible because there is a shortage of all of them. We ended up getting on 6-8-month waiting lists for most, but that's really tough when a family member needs a new therapist yesterday. I called around and all of them either were taking new patients, didn't handle older teens, or had a waiting list of over 10 months. So we kind of gave
up and just relied on school counselors as best we could, until I got a call from our insurance company based on an inquiry I had made about a completely different topic. The woman helped me out with that, and then asked if I had anything else she could help with, including finding providers that were closer or better fit our needs. Turns out she was a patient advocate who handles doing all the stuff I absolutely hate when dealing with insurance, making repetitive calls, coordinating between multiple providers, etc. I explained the therapy situation, and she collected info from me for about 5 minutes. She said I'd hear back from
her in a few days. When she called back, she had not only found a selection of therapists that would work for us, but had found one that could fit us in within 2 weeks. After confirming we'd like to do that, she established us as a patient with the therapist's office, set up the appointment, gave them our insurance info, and all we had to do was show up and do the onboarding in their portal. She then followed up twice over the next few weeks to confirm everything had gone smoothly. When I asked her more about what she does, she said that many people that rely on her are those that struggle making phone calls on their own.
They'll email her info and she handles the calls for them. Working with the insurance company, they can also sometimes pressure doctors to fit in patients more easily than if the patient called themselves. She said it's also common for people to try finding doctors for kids as they age out of pediatrics, or for adults that want to find a general practitioner that has more experience in specific issues they are facing. For all of the issues with insurance in the US, this is one thing that a couple of the companies have gotten right. Not every insurance company has patient advocates. For some, they only deal with billing issues. I'm with one of
the biggest insurance companies, but am aware of a couple of smaller companies that have full-service advocates available. To find if your insurance company does, do a search for /your insurance company /patient advocate. Tangential LPT if you have health insurance through your employer. Ask your HR benefits people if you have access to Health Advocate. Where Original Poster did this through their insurance company. Health Advocate is a company that does all this kind of legwork for you. Not saying one is better than another, just putting another option out there. Thanks for sharing this. I've been procrastinating making doctor's appointments and am going to see if my insurance has this.
This does not only apply to the US. I have also used this service before in the EU and had the same experience.
Introducing LPT Request Fridays. We determine Friday as beginning at 12 a.m. Eastern Time HSD, outcome to -5, EDT, outcome to -4 IM abot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit message compose /2 = our LifeProTips if you have any questions or concerns. ***.
I was completely unaware of that. Great info. Hope it does, and glad this will hopefully help you out.
LPT, stop asking people, do you need help? Instead ask, what can I help with? Do you need help? It's easy to say no to, but what can I help with?
Assumes action and makes people more likely to delegate or accept support.
Great for workplaces, relationships, and caregiving.
LPT, ask, do you need help? If you want to appear polite, but don't really want to do the task.
Does this tip imply when you ask if someone needs help that you actively want them to say yes? I always hope they'll say no.
Don't make someone take on emotional labor by identifying what they need help with. In the midst of a crisis, it can be hard to think. Don't make stressed out people do a lot of unnecessary thinking. Instead, offer to do a specific thing. Asterisk, can I leave a casserole with you so you don't have to cook? Asterisk, do you need a ride to the airport? Asterisk, do you want me to call the boss to let him know what's going on? Asterisk, do you need someone to watch your cats for you?
Years ago, I reluctantly reached out to a colleague for help when I had cancer and wouldn't be able to manage my business for a while. I asked if she could do a few things for me while I'd be recovering from surgery. She agreed and said, "What else can I do?" That phrasing felt so different and so welcoming compared to, "Let me know if I can help with anything else." It really blew me away, and I appreciated her so much for saying it like that.
Or better, is there something I can help with? Sometimes someone doesn't want help. Forcing them to accept it can be annoying.
Personally, I find that saying "what can I help you with" comes across as more genuine and warm compared to "do you need help?" The latter, while still polite, can sometimes sound uncertain, almost as if the offer is made out of courtesy rather than sincere willingness to help.
It doesn't matter how you ask. If a person doesn't want or need help, they will decline your offer. When I was a kid working in retail, I had a
bootleg BlackBerry, and these old people would come in with their $800 smartphones and ask questions. I'd be like, if I had a smartphone I could Google it for you. They would hand me their phone,